NTP. That stands for Noble Teaching Purpose. And it's something I talk a lot about to the future teachers in my class at UND. And I stole the idea from Entre Leadership, which is a podcast by Dave Ramsey on iTunes. And in one episode, he was interviewing this lady right here, Lisa Earl McLeod, about her book, Selling with Noble Purpose, in which she profiles some of the most successful pharmaceutical reps in the country. And one rep in particular, she asked, "What do you think about when you sell?" And that rep said, "Actually, I think about a little lady I met in a doctor's office years ago who asked if I sold a certain type of pharmaceutical product." I said, "I did." And that woman got down on her hands and knees and thanked me. She said, "You don't know it, but you've given me my life back. This allows me to travel. I can, in fact, get on my hands and knees and play with my kids." And so she thinks about that every time she sells, and she's awesome because of it. So I translate this to teaching by having my students think about, why do you teach? Now, it's important to communicate this to our students because we have to tell our story as learners. We were in their shoes once, and we have to show them the breakthrough moments where learning became important to us, where we knew education was vital and we wanted to be lifelong learners. I've got two people in my life that did that. Mr. Mueller, my 6th grade elementary school teacher at J.A. Hughes, and the crucial moment was a unit on video production, and he designed a mock game show on To Tell the Truth, and he cast me as the host. Now, for an introverted, chubby kid, this was the worst thing imaginable. And I begged Mr. Mueller to give me a minor role, but he wouldn't. He had faith in me, and he told me that. It was the first time a teacher actually expressed their faith in me. Totally changed my life. The second person who made me want to be a teacher was Mrs. Christensen. She was my 9th grade English teacher at Lafayette High School in Red Lake Falls, and she was the first person to connect my personal love for reading and writing with the reading and writing we did in class. And she, in fact, read one of my papers aloud to the class, and it was the first time my peers looked at me in amazement that I did something that was awesome in the area of school. Totally changed my life. It made me want to do for students what Mrs. Christensen did for me. And my own noble teaching purpose has 2 parts. One, I want to be able to see something in students that they don't. I want to be able to help them discover talents they don't even know exist. Here's an example. Alexis was a pre-med major at Concordia. She texted me one night asking if she was any good as a writer. I said, "You're phenomenal." And she switched majors. Now she's a published author with a major she absolutely loves. Another aspect, the second aspect of my noble teaching purpose, is one that I'm totally passionate about because it's what Mr. Mueller and Mrs. Christensen did for me. And that's help students discover and, in fact, revel in their passions. Too often we get busy just pushing through for testing or pushing through for curriculum, and we don't take time to allow students to develop their passions. This is my college Comp 2 class, and I love the look on Adam's face. Those kids had so much fun developing their passions, and they have to find out what they love to do in order to build on that in college. I had another student pose this question to me. It really made me think. It said, "If you were a student, would you want to take one of your classes?" And I thought for a second, and I said, of course I would, because I don't necessarily think of myself as a teacher. I'm more of a co-learner right along with my own students. So be honest, would you want to sit through 85 minutes of your own class? Now this is important because he also found out I was working on teacher evaluation. And he said the easiest way to figure out who the good teachers are is have students come to school, only they don't have to go to their assigned classes. They can go to any classroom where they feel valued, they feel challenged, they feel engaged, where they feel like their voice is given some life. And he said, walk into a classroom, open your door. If you have students, you know you're an excellent teacher. If there's not a desk full, then you've got issues. And I believe if we revisit our noble teaching purpose, or if we don't have one, if we become more aware of how we got into this field, if we discover that or rediscover it and think about it consciously in everything we do, we'll be far better and far more effective teachers.